All right, so the reason why I'm adding this guideline is because of what I talked about earlier, which is eye contact. Now, you want to make sure your videos are keeping eye contact. For example, this is a very good example. You can see where the eyes are. You don't want it to be here. So I'm going to move this guideline somewhere here, right? I'm going to move it somewhere here. Then I'm going to take the clip and zoom it to match this. Let me say 130. Let me see how that looks. All right, this is good. And I'm going to keep our eyes where this guideline is, right? So make sure you're keeping the person at the middle. You can zoom this a little bit more. Yeah, make sure you're keeping the person at the middle and it's always maintaining eye contact. That's a very good tip. So I actually wanted to add something that I forgot about, and is this black gradient. So let me show you what I'm talking about. If you notice in the final video, we have like this black gradient. So let me show you how to create that very fast. So what you want to do is add a new text, then delete all the text that is here, and then use the Windows plus semicolon on your keyboard to go into this panel, right? So once you're in this panel, go to symbols, and then you want to select this square shape, right? Now, if you're on a Mac, just find out you go to get to that panel, because I'm not familiar with you guys shortcut, right? But on a Windows, that is the shortcut, and make sure you get this black square. Make sure you get this square. So the next thing we want to do is change the color to black, and then we can scale it out. Just scale it out 500, and then you can increase the font size 500. Right, so now you see it's covering everything. That's not what we want. Next thing you want to do is make this a compound clip. So Alt G, and then once that is a compound clip, you get access to mask, right? So you can add mask, and then we want to use split mask, then rotate it 180 degrees, just like this. Drag it down and apply feather to it. This is how to apply feather. You can either drag this one down or go to the mask settings and adjust the feather here. But I'm just going to do it from here. So I'll do something like this and just drag it somewhere. Let me see. Yeah, somewhere here is fine. Is that okay? Yeah, I think that's fine. So another reason this is important is if you are putting captions, this black gradient will make your captions appear like bolder, to make your captions more readable. Now we want to extend this black gradient to the end of our timeline, because you see it ends here. So if you try dragging this to the end, you can see it's not dragging to the right, because I'll show you why in a bit. If you try dragging it to the left, it works, but if you try dragging it out, it doesn't work. So if you ever encounter this problem, right, what you want to do is go into your compound clip, just click into the compound clip, and then extend this one, just drag it out a little bit like this. Now go back and you see this can move. So if you've been wondering why that's not working, that's just a quick way to fix that, right? So to make things cleaner, I'll just put it on top here, so our timeline is more organized, right? So now that we have that, let me check our checklists, punch-ins, b-rolls, stuff like that. All right, so another thing I do is the parts I want to add b-rolls. Let's say I don't have the b-rolls I want to add yet, and I know I want to add a b-roll to this part, but I don't know the video I want to use yet. What I do is I make this same text, like this same text that we did. There's no need to do it again. You can just copy it from here, and then you can copy it from there, and then let's paste it. Let me see. Let's paste it here. All right, let's paste it on top here, and let me just reduce the track height for this one to short, right? So for example, if I disable this now,
let me show you coded way through which many people have.
Let me check the final video. Like the point I want to add my b-rolls, I just use this black stuff to cover it, so that I won't spend time looking for b-rolls when I've not finished editing, right? You can always source your b-rolls after you've edited your video. That's another way to edit faster. Do you get? So let me check where I use.
Let me show you coded way through which many people have been making.
Okay, where she says making money. Where does it end?
real estate.
Making money from real estate. All right, so let's do the same
Let
here.
me show you coded way through which many people have been
Okay, she says making somewhere here. So I'm just going to drag this here.
making real money from real estate.
From real estate, it ends here. And I'm just going to trim the rest. So if I play this back now,
Through which many people have been making real money from real estate. And you probably have been
you see how this can save you a lot of time, because if you say you should start looking for bureaus now, you might be overthinking and you won't know the bureaus you want to add yet, right? So you can just use these ones as a placeholder for now, and then once you have an idea of the kind of bureaus you want to use, whether text or image or videos, you can just add it to it, right? So let's continue.
Let me show you coded way through which many people have been making real money from real estate. And you probably have been leaving money on the table.
All right, I think
Through which many people have been making real money
all right, so
from real estate. And
let's apply our first method here, which is punch ins, right? So punch in is basically just zooming into the subject, like zooming into the person talking, so that it can give it this kind of more, it makes it more engaging, if you understand what I mean. So let's apply that here where she says
you probably have been real estate.
yeah, where she says and you probably have been. So if I zoom into my timeline again, another reason why you should have this at 100%. Now I know what she started talking here, right? So let me extend my bureau here.
And you probably
All right, then where she said and you probably have been, I'm just going to split it here.
and you probably have been leaving money on the table without you knowing. One
Hold on, give me a sec, let me
through
check
which
what I
many
did.
people have been making real money from real estate. And you probably have been leaving money on the table without you knowing. One
All right, leaving money on the table without you knowing.
and you probably have been leaving
I was trying to check where it ended.
money on the table without you knowing.
All right, so leaving on the money without you knowing, I'll break it here too. So we can punch in here, and later we'll add like sound effect and other things to it. So to punch in here, we can just zoom this. So I'll select this and go to basic and zoom it. Okay, I'm zooming the wrong thing. Hold on. I needed to click this one and zoom in just like this. Let's say 172, right? And once you've zoomed that in, make sure it is still maintaining eye contact. So let me check.
And you probably have been leaving money on the table.
All right, so I think this is still maintaining eye contact, but if it's not maintaining eye contact, you can just like adjust it. But I think that's fine. We can move it to the middle a little bit if it's not positioned in well.
Real money from real estate. And you probably have been
Yeah, this method, or I don't want to call it trick, this method really makes videos engaging. So that's basically a punch in. And you can also do this with keyframes, but if you don't need to do it with keyframes, you can just cut your clip and zoom it in. Like that's a faster way to do it, right? So
real estate. And you probably have been leaving money on the table without you knowing. One of so
all right, so once you punch
table
in,
without you
remember you have to like go back to like the original state.
knowing. One
right?
of
So we punched in, we zoomed in
money
here,
on the table without you knowing. One
and the next thing we go back to the way she was before, right? So let me zoom this in a little bit after the punching.
without you knowing. One of
Or should I zoom it out or in? All right, let's just leave it the way it was. So it returns to the original state here.
one of such is the pre-sale offer. One of such is the pre-sale offer.
All right, one of such is the pre-sale offer. I guess
Pre-sale offer. Pre-sale offer. Pre-sale offer. Pre-sale offer. The pre-sale offer. Pre-sale offer.
All right, where she starts saying pre-sale offer, right? So if you are explaining something in your talking head video, or you are talking about something that people can relate to, or you want people to engage is not the right word, or you want people to like relate with what you are saying, one very simple tip you can use this is where you can use zoom ins and zoom out, right? When you're talking about things like this, you don't want your subject, you don't want your talking head to be just in one position. Do you understand what I'm saying? So let me break it here again. And just 1 sec, I want to make sure we're doing the right
Let
thing.
me show you coded way you have been leaving money on the table without you knowing. One of such is the pre-sale offer. Pre-sale offer is the kind of offer that real estate company makes, especially when they're about to launch their.
All right, so
one of such is the pre-sale offer. Pre-sale offer is the kind of.
Yeah. All right, we can start zooming in from here because you see she's
pre-sale
talking
offer
about
is the kind of.
she's talking about something here that you can learn from or relate to. So
offer that real estate company makes, especially when they're about to launch their product.
all right, so
one of such is the.
So to zoom in, just add a keyframe. You can add a keyframe here, and then
offer is the kind of offer that real estate company makes. Real estate company make.
All right, because of this, I don't know if you notice this cut here. Like I said, I'm not the one that cuts this video, but if you notice this cut here, it kind of disrupts everything. So let me make another break here. But like I said, if it's your own video, it won't be this difficult because you recorded the video and you know where your cuts are, right? All right, so you can start zooming in from 133, and you want to make sure your scale, your keyframe is on scale and position. Let me show you what it's like if you don't add keyframe on position. So for example, okay, let me don't do what I'm doing here. Let me just show you a quick example. For example, let's say I want to zoom out, not zoom in this time. So let me zoom this a little bit. Let's say to 156, and then zoom out here. Let me add another keyframe here and change this one to 100. You don't have to follow along here, right? So if I change this one to 100, can you see the zoom starts?
Pre-sale offer, right? Is the kind of,
and it goes into this weird thing. That's because we didn't add keyframes on the position, right? So when you're zooming in and zooming out, you want to make sure you add keyframes on scale and position. So let me just delete these keyframes because that's not what we want. All right, let me go back to our original keyframe. So for this one where she's talking about something or she's explaining something, we want to start zooming in. So I'll add one keyframe here, and let me add another one somewhere here. And then I want to zoom in. I want to zoom in into what she's saying, right? While maintaining eye contact. So remember, if you are zooming in, remember to always maintain eye contact so that the eyes are not just going anywhere. So when I zoomed in, you notice the eyes were here. So I just dragged it back here to maintain eye contact. And what else? So I actually forgot to add a keyframe to position here. So I'm going to fix that. Position and yeah, scale and position, scale and position. So I'm going to zoom in. Can you see how this is zooming in to what she's saying? And you can drag it here a little bit. I don't want to add it at the end. And the reason why I'm not dragging this keyframe to the end is because of this cut here. If this cut was not here, I can easily drag it to the end, but because I want to fix this cut kind of, and let me show you what I mean. If you see the final video, right?
Money from real estate is the kind of offer that real estate company makes.
You can see
real estate company makes.
You can see the way I made everything kind of flow well, even though the cuts were not done properly, right? But I still found my way around it. So that's why I didn't add the keyframes. Like I didn't drag the keyframes to the end. So let's continue. Where she was explaining something, that's when you want to add zoom in or zoom out. So for this one, I'm using zoom ins. For your own, you can use zoom out. Like you can zoom out when the person is explaining something or saying things like this.
Pre-sale offer is the kind of offer that real estate company makes.
All right, so I noticed this is going in too fast. So what we can do is reduce the scale a little bit. Yeah, we can reduce the scale a little bit, make sure she's still centered, and then click on the right keyframe and then show all presets, and we can use let's say ease.
Pre-sale offer is the kind of offer that real estate company. Pre-sale offer is the pre-sale offer is the kind of offer that real.
I think it's still going too fast.
Is the pre-sale offer. Pre-sale offer is the kind of offer that real estate company.
All right, it's still going too fast. So let me see.
Is the pre-sale offer. Pre-sale offer is the kind of offer that.
All right, I think it's ease that I selected. So let's show preset again.
Pre-sale offer is the kind of offer that real estate company.
All right, easing works fine. So you see, it's not going too fast like that. So easing.
Estate company may.
All right, so where she says makes, let's try and make these two blend together.
Estate company.
All right, so I'm just going to add another guideline, like vertical guideline this time, and I'm going to move it to where this T is. See where this T is, because I want to use that to kind of like align this next clip, right? So you notice where the T is here, and we want to just like try and match up. So let me see where this one ended, this particular keyframe. This particular keyframe ended at scale of 158, then 110, 267. So 158, let me scale this to 158. Then I think let's just try and get this T where it is. All right. Let me check this one again.
Company makes the kind of offer that real estate company makes, especially when they are.
Right, estate company makes. Okay.
Estate company makes.
I think. All right. Let me adjust it a little bit.
Offer that real estate company makes, especially offer that real estate company makes.
All right. Let me drag this down a little bit. But still, I don't want to drag it down because I want it to maintain eye contact. All right. So let's just use this for now. And something we can do is for this clip, go to video, then scroll down to where you have camera tracking. That's another tip to like make your videos engaging. So camera tracking, track the face, and just click on start. You see it shows processing.
Pre-sale offer is the kind of offer that
jumpy it is. So we can reduce the shake to, why is it processing every time? Let's want to fit to canvas, then lock object size. So fit to canvas, and then I don't know why CapCut processes every single thing, and fit to canvas. All right, so let's see how that looks.
Pre-sale offer is the kind of offer that real estate company makes, especially.
All right, the shaking is too much. So we can reduce it a little bit. Let's do like 5. Let's just reduce it very well. So let's do 5. Processing, and when that is done.
Pre-sale offer is the kind of offer that real estate company makes, especially.
All right,
company makes.
That's another way you can make your videos engaging. But to be honest, this thing is shaking too much. So what I'm going to do is just use custom camera tracking. So I'm going to get rid of this. So just press reset and then custom, and then I'll put the custom tracking on our forehead, right? So click on start because our forehead didn't have a lot of movement.
Pre-sale offer is the kind of offer that real estate,
and then we want to lock, fit and lock. Processing. All right, so let's see what we have now.
Offer. Pre-sale offer is the kind of offer that real estate company makes, especially when they are about to launch their product.
All right, so I think everything is quite done for now. We've added punching, we've added subtle zooms, we've added we added placeholder for our b-rolls, right? And then transitions, animations, captions, we're going to do that last. So let's work on the b-rolls now.
Pre-sale offer.
Hold on, let me check this part
again. Pre-sale offer is the kind of offer that real estate company makes, especially when they are about to launch their product. Offer that real estate company makes, especially when they are about to launch their product.
All right, this place is quite rough, and is because of the way the raw video is. And normally I will spend some time to refine it a little bit, because the original one I used like 5 minutes to make sure everything syncs well.
Is the pre-sale offer. Pre-sale offer is the kind of offer that real estate company makes.
If you notice how it kind of flows well, right? But I don't want to spend too much time in this video, so that's something you can do by yourself. Just make sure it comes in well, or you can even add a transition to the side, but let's keep that for now. So b-rolls next, right? So there are so many places where you can source for b-rolls, and one place I like the most is Canva actually. So Canva is very easy to get b-rolls, and once you're in Canva you can create new projects. But let me just go into one project I created, and these are some b-rolls I used for some projects. Let me delete this for now, it's not useful right now. Delete. All right, so once you're in Canva, go to elements and then search elements. Now you can search keywords like real estate money, depending on what kind of video you're editing. Now for this one, I can search for something like counting money. And you see, okay, let me go to video. Make sure you're in video. So hold on. Canva's interface is actually kind of bad. All right, I got it, video. So you see you have a lot of b-rolls you can select from here. And if you don't like the ones you're seeing, you can still search for something like real estate or real estate money and select your b-rolls from here. Now, this one is actually a very good b-roll. So you can use this. So you can just scale this out like this, scale it out like this, stretch this one, stretch this one. I stretch it a little bit more like this, right? Yeah, this is a very good b-roll. So once you've gotten your b-roll, you can just press share and then download the video, right? So it's going to download it to your PC or wherever you're downloading it. Another place you can get b-roll is Pixabay. So the same thing applies for Pixabay. Just go to videos and let's search for something like money or counting money, stuff like that. So you see you can get b-rolls from here too. This is a very good one, and some other ones you can use, right? So that's where you can, these are sources, these are websites you can source for your b-rolls. So I already downloaded my b-roll, and this is the one I want to use, right? So I'm just going to use it in place of I'm just going to put it where I put my placeholder, right? So drag this in here, and then we can delete, no, we can leave the placeholder for now in case we want to correct something.
Making real money from real estate.
Actually, I want the b-roll to start from where the guy is counting money, somewhere here, so I can just trim it and bring this back
making
like this.
Real money from real.
And you can also go to speed, slow it down a little bit.
Real estate. Making real money from real estate.
Yeah, something like that. I think that's good. So just trim the rest because we don't need the rest. But if you notice, the b-roll is looking too clean, like it's looking too, I don't know what to put, it's looking too natural. So one thing you can do is go to effects and let's try to dial down the old thing a little bit. So search for something like film. Search for film and let's use film frame. Right? You see it's already looking a lot better now. It's looking like something from a movie scene. So you can also go to adjust and reduce the saturation a little bit. Or let me say increase, no, reduce actually. Reduce the saturation and the exposure, right? So it's not looking too clear. Do you understand?
Let me show you coded way through which many people have been making real money from real estate. And you probably have been leaving money on the table without you.
Yeah, that looks good. So let's add a little bit of zoom in to the beginning, like this part. That's a very good place you can add your zoom into. So one good one good tip is when your video starts, you don't want it to start bare. You can add zoom in, zoom out, or just go to where it says animation and add an animation to it. But for this one, let's just zoom. Let's zoom out actually, because we already use zoom in somewhere here. So select the first clip and then let's add keyframe on scale and position, right? So go to where this B-roll starts and then add your second keyframe on scale and position. Now go back to the first keyframe and just zoom it in like this. Just zoom it in like this. Let's say nothing too crazy, just like 162. Make sure you're still maintaining eye contact, very important. 162 to, and this is going to zoom to 133. So let's see how that looks.
Let me show you coded way through which many people have been making.
Yeah, that looks very good actually. So select the second keyframe and show all presets. Then let's say
let me show you coded way through which many people have been. Let me show you coded way. Let me show you coded way through which many people have been. Let me show you coded way through which many people have been.
Better than the rest. So let's just stick to linear, right? So you can also add an animation here. As you can see, animation is part of the methods I listed here. So animation, you can use any of these.
Let me show you.
A lot of people use this zoom
let me show you
to like grab attention. So
let me show you coded. Let me show you coded. Let me show you. Let me show you code.
Right.
Let me show you.
And
let me show you.
Reduce the duration to 0.5. So let's see how that's looking.
Let me show you coded way through which many people have been making real money from real estate.
All right, that looks good. So next thing is let's add transitions. We've added B-rolls, we've added punch-ins, done. I've showed you how you can enhance your audio, drum pacing, and yeah. Next thing is transitions, right? So you see this part where
money from real estate, and
you see this part where we punched in, right? That's a very good part to add a transition. So go to your transition. And actually, let's use a light transition. So go to lights. There are different kinds of transition you can use. So go to lights and we can use, let me see. I don't want it to be anything too crazy. Yeah, let's use clear 2. Let me see how that looks.
I probably.
Right, so I'm going to add it here. And then reduce the duration to, let's say, 0.2.
Money from real estate. I probably.
Yeah, that looks good. So another place we can add transition is
one of such is the pre-sale offer. Pre-sale offer is
we can add another one here. You can actually add one here, but since we added one here, you don't want to make your timeline that crazy. Just do something simple. So let's add another transition. Let's say, okay, let me see how this one looks. All right, so once you've added it, you can just reduce the duration to, let's say, 0.2. So let me see how that looks.
Offer. Pre-sale offer.
All right, that looks good actually. Another thing I want to remove is actually this camera shake. I think it's shaking too much. But in the final clip, if you notice, I used it here.
Pre-sale offer. Pre-sale offer is the kind of.
Yeah, I used it here and the shake is not this much. You see, it's very like subtle change, subtle shake rather. So I don't know why it's shaking too much here. Maybe I didn't track the right thing, but let's not dwell on that too much. So you can just try tracking another. Let me go back. I don't want to track the face. Let's just remove the tracking and use normal zoom in.
Pre-sale offer. Pre-sale offer is the kind of offer that real estate company makes, especially when they.
All right, so that looks a lot better.
Company.
So finally, we've gone through everything. The last thing to add is captions.